study about the apoptosis. Yes, what is this apoptosis? Apoptosis is nothing but the programmed cell death. Programmed cell death. Okay, apoptosis is the programmed cell death. It is genetically determined process. It is the genetically determined process. Okay, it is apoptosis is the programmed cell death and it is genetically determined process. In the sense, consider this is the cell. In this cell, this apoptosis is already inbuilt. Okay, it is already inbuilt. Apoptosis is already inbuilt. Hence, it is known as the genetically determined process. Okay. During the cell death, DNA and nucleus first breaks down. Later, the entire cell breaks. Okay, consider this is the cell. In this cell there is a nucleus and the nucleus contains the DNA. This DNA condenses and breaks into a smaller pieces. Later this nucleus breaks into a smaller pieces. Then entire cell breaks into a smaller pieces or the smaller fragments. These fragments are known as apoptic bodies. Okay, these are known as the apoptic bodies. These apoptic bodies or the smaller fragments or the smaller pieces are later engulfed by the phagocytes. Okay. Apoptosis is nothing but the PCD, that is programmed cell death. It is genetically determined process. In the sense, this process is already inbuilt. In the sense, these apoptosis, in the sense, the cells are containing the proteins which are helpful in lysing the cell. Okay, these proteins are present in inactive state. But when the cell decides to destroy itself, these proteins gets activated, or when the cell gets aged, these proteins get activated and occurs the apoptosis. Okay. During apoptosis or during the cell death, DNA and the nucleus first breaks down. Consider, okay, here is the DNA and the nucleus. Okay, this DNA condenses and the nucleus breaks into a smaller pieces. And later the entire cell breaks into smaller pieces. These pieces are known as the apoptic bodies, which are later engulfed by the phagocytes. Example for this apoptosis is RBCs. Okay, the lifespan of RBCs is 121 days. The lifespan of RBCs is 121 days. After 121 days, these cells, the RBC, the red blood cells, goes the process of apoptosis. Okay. Let us study about the necrosis. The necrosis is the unprogrammed cell death. Okay. Necrosis is the unprogrammed cell death. It is completely opposite of apoptosis. Whereas apoptosis is the programmed cell death and it was genetically determined process. But here the necrosis is the unprogrammed cell death and it is not genetically determined process. There is nothing like inbuilt structure here. Okay. Okay, this necrosis is caused due to the injury. Necrosis is caused due to the injury which leads into a premature cell death in a living tissue. In a living tissue. The necrosis occurs due to a injury and this which leads to into a premature cell death in a living tissue. Necrosis is detrimental and can be fatal Okay, this necrosis is detrimental and can be fatal. Here the injured cell will release some of the chemicals which are harmful to the nearby cells. Okay, which are harmful to the nearby cells. Hence it is known as the detrimental or can be fatal. Okay. This necrosis is accompanied by the release of enzymes which are stored in the lysosomes. Okay, this necrosis is accompanied by the release of enzymes which are stored in the lysosome. The lysosome enzymes are capable of digesting the cell component as well as the entire cell. Okay, the enzymes which are present in the lysosomes are capable of digesting all the cell component and the cell itself, and later it breaks the cell into a smaller pieces. Okay, smaller pieces, and these pieces are engulfed by the phagocytes. Here it is the common process. The smaller pieces are engulfed by the phagocytes is the common process in necrosis as well as in the apoptosis. Okay, example for this necrosis is gangrene. Okay, example for this necrosis is the gangrene. Okay.